Alright chaps, welcome back to Battle Brothers. So this is the second VOD we're doing before the big DLC gets released. Stream looks good. There you go. What did we achieve in the first VOD? We had 2 hours of play, we've done 20 days. We need to win a battle against 12 or more enemies. We're sitting on 2,000 crowns. I'm generally not that happy with the progress we've made, but in retrospect, the fact that I have just happened to get my hands on the kind of brothers who are just going to be tanks makes it hard. But is he suitable for overwhelmed tank? X-tank, overwhelmed tank. He could be. Anyway, so to summarize what we're going for, we want to have 3 frontline axe-wielding, light armor, overwhelm lads. I want to see whether using split shield applies overwhelm, which I believe it should. And then I want to manipulate the initiative so that we've got at least two dagger specialists that will have less fatigue than the axe guys, so that the axe guys walk forward, not only break the target shield, but apply 2 stacks of overwhelm. We've also got archers that are going to have overwhelm and executioner. And then the dagger guys are going to also have executioner, maybe not overwhelm. I don't think the dagger ones need it. And then for the tanks, I might even dual spec them with weapons. I might give them spear mastery as well, because we're not going to put any points into melee skill whatsoever. We're going to go fully into fatigue, melee defense, and initiative. Which you might say, okay, that's going to make it impossible for them to hit anything, but 52 melee skill plus 20 is 72, and if you swing even once with overwhelm, you lower the target's defense by 10%. If the target has 50 melee defense, you've then lowered their defense by 5, which is almost as effective as a stack of fast adaptation. What's up, Josh? We're just busy doing some theory crafting. Don't think it's going to be great, this, but hey, that is the whole point of this experimentation. I know what works. Now I want to see if I can find something else that works for me. Did we not find a hut full of zombies? We did. I think we can expect there to be 12 or more zombies in there, but we don't have the kind of lads yet that can do that reasonably reliably. We are on the lookout for someone who could be decent on the front line, and that's not it. These lads are too expensive. I love a conscript. This is almost promising. I love bright. Superstitious I already hate. Hit points, only 1 star in melee, not good enough. The chicken, so he's got dastard. This is a pity because, wait, hang on. So we'll start combat at wavering. This could actually potentially be a decent bannerman, because we need someone with stars in resolve. He's got stars in melee skill and in melee defense. He's hired. Now his resolve 30. Oof. It's not going to be great, but he'll have to do for now. Try to get at least one more lad in here. Ooh, such a pity he's carrying that axe. That's what's making him so expensive. Day Tailors, ooh, such a pity for the Craven, because fatigue, melee skill, melee defense. So 60 hit points. This is another nice tank. I don't think he's going to have what it takes to qualify as a dagger user, but maybe we can make him a greatsword user. So maybe we have 7 up front with greatswords on the outside flanks. So greatsword, axe, dagger, axe, greatsword. And then when we have polearms, maybe he should be a polearm user instead. Because then typically what the setup will look like, it'll be, let's see, ranged. Bannerman with 2 archers either side, polearm, and then great sword, axe, dagger, axe, greatsword. That gives us 4 units with AoE attacks on the flanks where it's the most important. And it's giving us shield breaking and overwhelming in the center of the formation, plus daggers. I think that could work. Okay, hang on a second. Let me just open my my builds document. I want to see the table that shows the leveling up. Oh, Josh Gray is... Oh, dude, I'm so pleased someone's watching that Darkest Dungeon content. I'm so proud I got through it. It took me like 8 months to do that campaign. Holy crap. Hey, Zhao, how are you, mate? The Darkest Dungeon, when I finally got done with it, I've never been... Well, I've almost never been that satisfied getting a game done. Holy crap. Okay. So, Raymond the Chicken. I've got to decide whether I want to make him a polearm or Bannerman. I think his resolve is too low, even with the 2 stars. So 2 stars in resolve gives him 4 at every level, times 10 is 40. It's only 70. It's nowhere near good enough for a Bannerman. Plus 25% of 70, 15, so 85, plus 10, call it 12, so it's 90, it's just over 100. So this has to be a polearm user, I think. And how about this lad? Quite similar. Do I just make them both greatsword users? They're going to be a little low on fatigue, though, is the problem. I would have to make them light armor users. If I want to make them greatsword users, they won't have enough fatigue. Sorry guys, I'll look at your comments in a second. I just want to do the fatigue calculations. So we got, let's look at Raymond, and there's no way. Fatigue rolls 2 to 4, so we call it an average of 3 every level up, times 10 is 30. That gives him 109 fatigue. If we're putting him in scale mail, which is 28, plus 20 with a full helm is 48, minus a quarter of 48 is 38-ish, 36-ish. 36 minus 108 gives him 70 fatigue at level 11. For an outside flank greatsword user, it's just not good enough. The greatsword user needs to be able to use swing and split pretty much every turn, which is what, 25 and... If, however, I make them polearm users, I think I'd probably get away with it, making them light arm users, because they've got 2 stars in melee defense. So melee defense 2 stars is 3 every level, so plus 30, so 32 and 34. That's nice defense. But you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it, let's do it. We're supposed to be experimenting. We're going to make these light armor, overwhelming greatsword users. So, if I get them to act first in turn, think about the fact that they're going to have 30-something defense, even with a 2-handed weapon, and they apply Overwhelm, which lowers offense of the enemy, and if they get stacks of reach advantage, they might just be survivable enough. Probably not, but that's the whole point of the experimentation. Okay, 2 greatsword lads. Yeah, Mike Helga, I have no doubt that there's guys who can do that. I'm not interested in that whatsoever. It's super impressive, don't get me wrong. But like, the amount of knowledge of the game you have to do that, and everything has to go perfectly, and you have to find the... It's impressive, but it's something that, you know, almost no one who plays Battle Brothers will ever do. So kind of what use is it? This is an escort caravan, fine. The one thing I would point out is that I think a lot of times us players, Battle Brothers players, we forget that the enemies scale. So he won't be doing the same Black Monolith that I did on day 1000 of my Pain Incorporated playthrough, where I was up against 40 something 6 raiders, and what do we have here? Just a few caravan hands. This is not going to go well. Well, let's try. I want that. So money-wise, I need to buy some hunting bows. I need to get hunting bows onto all 3 of my ranged guys. Friggin' ASAP. Damn it. This is scary. These level 1 lads we just hired. I don't think they're long for this world. Oof! Grazed neck. We got a bandage, don't we? Come on, hit something, you... Oh, stunned! Clutch. I think we're going to try to dagger down that nerd and murder everybody else. We gotta let them in, I'm afraid. Oof! Oh, not stunned. Dazed. Lowering fatigue and damage and all that shit. Okay, this is very bad for him. Come on, caravan hands. Fucking do something. %. Dead. Someone's dead. Oof, Struth. Do I go to my dagger? I don't think so. We wait and see what the other lads can do. Well done. Well done, boys. Well done. Now this lad's going to jump in there, isn't he? 33, 47. Yes, Arnulf! Yes, Arnulf! These caravan hands just standing there doing nothing. Fucking does my head in. On the plus side here, Guido just got to hang on till we kill these 2, and then we can dagger this guy down. It's risky, but I need that armor so badly. Are we? Yes, with the 2 hits. Yes, Bodo! Well, where is hit chances? 51 chance. There we go. Quickly, boys. Surround him. Charge! Bring me that armor, lads. What's up, Ruffle? Sure, it seems that way, doesn't it? Let's see here. Can get him, boys. I don't have rotation, unfortunately. Not yet. Oh. You mother! Kill stealing mother. Caravan hands. They stand there and do absolutely hot fuck all until the battle is won, and they move forward and steal kills. Swear. How about this? How about we go X, spear, X, and then you lads can stabby stab. I forget, should I be repairing Morning Stars? Probably not. Dagger, 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 and we managed to treat that wound that we suffered, so that's good. Please, no more attacks. 120 gold. Whoop-de fucking do. We are still very much in the phase of trying to find decent lads. Only a 3-star brother. I'm looking for 5 and above. That's a 4, but no. Melee defense, melee skill, and hit points. Sure footing is great too. But he's only a 3-star brother. This is what's so frustrating about finding the right brothers. Like, I mean, this is the perfect distribution for a frontline guy. Well, almost perfect. For a light armor frontline guy, it's perfect. Hit points, melee skill, melee defense, but it's the minimum amount of stars. No good. Please be a delivery. Drive off brigands. That is so friggin' risky. That's cheap. We do have a pike, which is great damage. We have shield break. In fact, Magnus, I could even have him carry the long axe to give us even more shield break. Yeah, and then we break shields and we stab. Let's see, additional action point per tile move, that's fine. It's these two guys here with their lack of damage that is the issue. 25 to 40. I need hunting bows. That's what we're going to be saving up for now. We can quick save and do it. But I forgot, what is the quick save button? F5. Oh my god, I remember that. Are you referring to, what season was that? That was a couple of years ago when I had those caravan hands. That was back when caravan hands would just bum rush any enemy. And then there was one orc berserker, one single orc berserker who had a chain, if I remember, against our full stack of lads. The caravan hands just swarmed him, gave him like 10 stacks of rage, and he killed all 12 of our brothers. It was fucking insane. No, go away, Nachtseers. You guys have smelly bums, I don't want to fight you. But you know what? Maybe we need them. They can help us. And this might actually help towards the ambition. Many raiders, which we can't fight by ourselves, but we have this friendly local group of Nachtseers. Oh yes, go towards the Nachtseers. That's going to work out very well for you. Damn, I didn't move to the right area. I should have moved more down and left. And I didn't get that right either. This is a blunder. Oh, he's got the bruised leg, doesn't he? I think we just keep on fleeing. We let the Nachters kill. Oh, fuck's sake, we can't. No, I can't get out. Should have waited. I can see how rusty I am at this game. Making a lot of misplays here. Well, at least most of the boys here on the front line have shield expert. I mean, fine, it's great that we've got these Nachters killing some of the raiders, but these Nachters are going to get so big now from feeding on the raiders that they're going to kill all of us. 14% chance to hit. You fucking what, mate? I needed more of these raiders to go for those Nachters. And this is making me think that with these tank lads, fine, they're going to have X mastery. Primarily to break shields, but then I might actually give them bags and belts and quick hands so they can, like in this situation, Guido shouldn't be swinging with his axe because he's got, what's his chance to hit? 54% chance to hit. Just no good. If I give him a spear, and think eventually, if he has a tier 3 fighting spear, at least he has a chance to hit. I think we're all going to die here. These Nachters are fucking scary. This was too much for us. Or maybe if I did this properly, it wouldn't have been that bad. I don't have any melee skill. This is the problem. I don't have a single lad on the front line who can actually hit anything. So let's go with spears. And then just the one lad to break a shield. Additional action point per tile moved, so he really can't actually flee. See if we can't move more down to the bottom and left, get more of these. If we just go straight left. I need all of the raiders to go fight the Nachters. The problem is the lad with the bruised knee. We get caught. Wait, see what these guys do. If they're closer to the Nachters, they might actually run for them. Okay, 3 of them we can fight though. That we can do. So hard getting through these guys when they've got these fucking tight shields. Yeah, we gang up on this lad first. My goal here is to kill these 3 before these Nachters reach us. Oh, you legend. Well done, mate. Perfect. Sorry. Sorry. I definitely think for my frontline tanky boys, quick hands, axe, and spears is the way to go. It's not the kind of build I would do in any other circumstances, but I have a very particular idea of what I want them to achieve. Oh, he's back for some more. Kill him. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was a mistake. Right, donkey. I'm good, mate. In case we want to leave, I'm going to start having Albrecht run away. I mean, technically we could try to stab this dude, but that's too risky under the circumstances. We need to get the fuck out of here before we get knocked here, swarmed. Come on, one more. Break his morale. Defense. Oh, those nutteers are getting scary. That raider has the right idea. Run away! I think we should be okay. This is interesting because if that one raider survives and he is in the ruin that we're supposed to be clearing out, does that mean the ruin's still going to be there just with one raider in it? That could be fucking great for us. Because if we come back here, we give the Nachtseers the slip. Come back here, there's one raider. We can surround him and dagger him with comparative ease. If we're lucky, he'll have some nice chainmail for us. We haven't got a level up. Mossy Shelter. A Brigand Raider. And a singular Brigand Raider. So if he's going to be a great sword user, he needs melee skill and defense. And then resolve. I think I might have to leave resolve at that low number. Oh, for fuck's sake, he's Craven. He's light armor, so he's gonna need Colossus for sure. I think I might skip Berserk on almost everybody this time, which again is not something I normally do, but that's the whole point of the experimentation. Oh, perfect. It's exactly the armor we wanted. I don't feel bad for him. Fuck him. He's a raider. Outlaw. He's gonna beat the shit out of some of our lads too. Rip. Fuck's sake. killed my X-Tank. Oh, for God's sake. The break I've taken from Battle Brothers is pretty obviously left me super rusty, as you can all see. I think it will. I think the DLC is going to be great. He's going to have some shitty leather armor now, isn't he? Okay, good. Same. Smart. Okay, so everybody get ready to surround him. He should only be able to swing once if we maintain 1 or 2 steps away from him. Yes. Oof. There we go, there's one. Could have attacked again, but just so you see how crazy effective the daggers are. Wait until we have 2 dedicated high melee accuracy dagger specialists. When we're fighting against organic targets, we are gonna just rip them to pieces. I was quite surprised in a recent offline campaign when I just gather my thoughts. What was I going to say? I was surprised by how effective the dagger guys were against undead actually, because the undead, like I found they have very high hit pools. You guys know what I mean. God, words are hard. HP pools. They have quite high HP pools. But when you're going straight through the armor, the undead can go down quite quick. The pole sword is probably what I'm most excited to get to grips with. So like instead of using a pole arm, we would use a pole sword. The pole swords would obviously have the hit chance bonus, but it wouldn't be as good against armor as the pole arms. The pole mace is super interesting. Basically a debuffing unit. I'm a little skeptical though of how good it's going to be. Okay, so Raimund unfortunately is going to need Colossus and maybe even Fortified Mind, because I can't afford to put points into Resolve leveling him up. So there's the arena lads and the slaves sound interesting. Slave drivers. Man, so we were able to now do a 3 skull mission on day 20. This is the kind of thing you should be doing right from day 1 if you want to, like that guy who did Black Monolith on day 50. You need to go balls to the walls again on these 3-star fighting missions. Brave is nice. Disloyal. It's crap, those are not great. He's only a 4-star brother and the distribution's not great. Like you see, this is an 8-star brother. He's got range defense, but the thing is, I could make him a dagger specialist, but then 2 of his skills are not being used at all. See, sure footing is nice, fatigue is nice, melee skill is nice. If that was only melee defense, it would have been so good. Look at this. So we got Bertram, the swift beggar. Melee skill of 50, 3 stars, 3 or 4 every level. So let's call it 3.5, so 35. So 85 melee skill. at level 11, which is for a dagger guy. Melee defense 1 to 3, so call it 2, so call it 20. That's 24 at level 11. Plus a heater is another 24, so call it 50. Plus another 5 for 65. Light armor. Nice fatigue. What's up, Zuckerman? Maybe we pivot and we make rhyme, or maybe this could be a polearm user. So melee skill 1 star, 2 to 3, so call it 25. So just about 80. He's dirt cheap. Nice bit of defense, loads of fatigue. The problem is though is hit points and resolve. I want a dagger specialist, but the thing is, can I justify this lad? He's gonna wear light armor, he's gonna have like three stars in melee is so exceptionally good, but then the other 5 of his 8 stars are useless. Range defense does nothing for you. Range skill does nothing for you. It's a pity. And also their hit point and resolve stats are so bad that you would have to give them Fortified Mind and Colossus, which sucks up 2 perk points. It's not impossible that you can find a beggar that's not worth, that isn't worth using. I mean, you can find them. They're just so rare. You would need them to be like a 7-star brother and roll high on their base stats, but their base stats don't even go that high. That beggar on his hit points rolled 44, which I think is low as it can be. Polearm builds with a lot of range defense. 2 kills, nah. I mean, the thing is, a polearm guy is a very poor solution for archer hunting. The very best way to kill enemy archers is your own archers. I mean, if a polearm guy wants to be fighting an archer, he has to get in range, and that means getting shot full of arrows and getting past the enemy melee guys. So it's not a good bet. 655 for a pike is quite cheap. Just weighing up whether I invest in another pike or not. We are good to go though with a setup for another lad. Get rid of that. So deserters I'm not crazy about, but ooh, this could be our dagger user. I mean, he's gonna have shitty resolve, but melee defense should be decent. I just want to see what the stat ranges are for a deserter. I mean, a 3-star deserter. Okay, backgrounds. Brawler, butcher, deserter. Right, so these are the average ranges. Let's see. So average melee skill range is 52. So he actually wouldn't be all that much better than that beggar we saw. No, not good enough. Now this lad we can certainly try out. Resolve is nice, fatigue is nice, range defense. Pessimist, hate for undead. Okay. That's decent. It's a 5-star brother. Witch Hunter. They get plus resolve, don't they? He could be potentially a decent bannerman if he rolls decently. 42 average resolve. So resolve is between 42 and 50, and only 1 star. His fatigue is between 90 and 100. He's got 2 stars. That's really good. Melee skill is 47 to 57. I think this could be our first dagger guy. So melee skill with 2 stars is 3 every level. So that's plus 30. And his melee skill ranges from 47 to 57. So let's call it 51 plus 30. It's 81. I think I want 85 at least for a dagger specialist. Not good enough. Now what we're actually busy doing right now sort of to me fits in with this experimentation I want to be doing, because at this point I would be hiring those guys just to get bodies on the field. But we are trying to be more discerning with who we hire. My concern then is that time ticks on and we don't get what we need, and we're just left with a tiny group of lads. But hey, that's what experimentation is for. We just lost 700 gold in trying out, brothers. Morning. Expensive. I don't mind a vagabond. He is a 6-star. Determined is amazing. Initiative, melee defense. This could be an incredible overwhelm tank. He's got initiative, he's got melee defense. His fatigue could be an issue though. So vagabond, fatigue stats are between 100 and 115. So he's going to have 145 fatigue. If we put him in light armor, that's no more than 30. That leaves him with over 100 fatigue. His initiative we can keep over 100. He can have plus 15 defense from his initiative. He's got overwhelm, so he's always confident. Hyatt. Look at how rubbish his resolve is though. Yeesh. So this is now the 4th overwhelm X tank. Well, these two aren't good enough to be overwhelm tanks though, are they? We have to expect that some of these guys won't survive, so it's the star. Let's make him an overwhelm X tank. And we just hope he survives. Okay. I think it's time now. We've got 9 lads. This is a decent core. Problem is I still haven't found a single dagger specialist yet. I mean, I was going to say... Ooh, it's... potentially even better as an overwhelm tank. Oh, here's our bannerman. Okay, forget it. We're on a hiring spree. Let's not get the 12 though. I still want to get that ambition. Right, so... Egil. Overwhelm X, overwhelm. So, oh, but 43 is low resolve though. Resolve, 3 stars is 4 to 5, so let's call it 45, so 85. Plus 10 from the sash is 95. Plus 25 is, let's call it 125. That's nice. So this is our bannerman. And particularly good because he's got a star in melee defense. Let's... Pure archer, great sword user. axe using boys in there. Be 5. Put you there. You there. Decent. So unfortunately we just haven't found the dagger boys, but we'll keep leveling these guys. And now these guys who don't quite have the overwhelm capability, we'll hang on to them, but I think I'll mark them with stars to indicate that we're going to replace them. That guy's a keeper, that guy's a replacer. Hagen is a keeper. Odo is a keeper. Replacer. Keeper. Wait, one of the archers we were gonna have as a backup archer, basically. We've got Magnus, we've got Dolmar, we've got Marden. I feel like Magnus might actually be, if I had to rate my archers, obviously it's 1 with Marden. Magnus might actually be 2 because Tiny is so good for an archer. Magnus is our 3rd rated archer. Egil. But hang on, let's start naming our overwhelmed tanks in terms of their rank. They're likely to be good. I think Hagen's likely to be our best. Great swords don't need numbers. What? Overwhelm. Odo is 2 overwhelmed tank, and Egil would be 3. So Guido and Albrecht we're looking to get rid of. Albrecht now is actually the least important. I'll keep him in reserve. Just got to bear in mind the center of our formation here are level 1s and 2s. We still need to be incredibly careful and defensive. We might as well have Albrecht be part of the fighting lineup. I mean, why not? Five days of food. Tools, as always, are a problem. Any more cheap armor like that? Yes, there certainly is. Okay, now we stop spending. That is probably a better setup. Right, you know, extra money. 2 days to the north, fine. Let's play. 1, 2, 3, 4, broke even. Enough for today. Probably shouldn't have taken this ambition right now. Come on, take me to the south. Oh, perfect. I love when that happens. You get given a mission to go to the north to deliver, and then you get paid to go back. Oh, that's cheap. I can't resist buying both of those stacks. Maybe pay 155. To complete this ambition. Can I take on a dozen zombies yet? Probably not. Marksmen and raiders run away. Once all the lads have at least level 3 where they have gifted, then we can do some zombie farming. It's fraught with danger right now. Those front, my lads on the front line are super weak. Those webnecks. Can't fight those. That cloth is worth 150 and it's worth 140 and I'm buying for 150. I could probably make a profit off that. Do we actually have arrow maker shed? Good. So there's a Fletcher. Awesome. What I'll make sure that there's actually a city where I can buy bows from. Yeah, I need to buy 2 more of those. What is this? Secure Tomb of Lords. I think we'll take that on. We'll have to pull some enemies in there. Deliver to a day to the west. What is the quick save button again? I forget. Oof, a forest fight. Against undead. If it's just zombies, it could be doable. Some Wiedergängers and a lot of armored Wiedergängers. Because it's in the forest, that could help, and we have a lot of polearms. I could bottleneck them. Let's try, but expect that we're going to have to reload and do it again. Do we just stay put and see what happens? I mean, if we move forward, 2, 3, that's a 4. No. 1, 2 guys there, and then a bunch of lads there. You two will hold those 2 squares. Tree. I can't hold this side here. I think we can block them off there, maybe. Let's try. That's a lot of zombies. I feel like my boys might actually want to be using their slings for this, just so we don't use a whole lot of ammo as well. What's up, FS? Stay where you are, actually. No, just start slinging stones. God, I have rotation. We've got a couple of tanks on the front line who that have decent melee defense already. What they don't have is a lot of hit points or fatigue. I am trying to see what the viability is, if at all, of a build that is focused on overwhelm and executioner perks. So we're going to have 4 tanks on the front line that are wearing light armor and have high initiative. Turn here. Okay, I didn't quit it, no. I need to be playing a bit of Battle Brothers. Because people come here for Battle Brothers, I don't come here for Urtuk. I can't stream tomorrow, I've got friends coming over, but I'm certainly going to play more Urtuk. I'm loving Urtuk. I'll try to stream some on Saturday. On Sunday I'm supposed to stream, but I've got people coming out on Sunday as well. Urtuk is so good. It's been such a pleasant surprise to play that game. Come on. I wish I had rotation already. But most of these frontline lads just need another level or 2 and they'll have rotation. Oh yeah, Egil. Problems. I think he just sits there with his shield up. He doesn't attack. Level are you? Level 1. 34 melee defense. Egil's gonna die. My prediction, he doesn't survive this battle. The thing is, Egil doesn't even have recover yet. After this turn, he's maybe got one more turn of shield up. I've actually got to run here. I can't afford to get picked off on the next. No, actually, wait. Next turn, Hagen will go there. Zombie nerds. Gah. These low level boys. Seeing all this dazed is great. It reminds me of that cultist build I went for where everybody used the two-handed maces. That group had their advantages, eh? Like, you struggled to deal with big swarms of enemies, but against, like, you know, the bigger monsters, like unholds and scary orcs and stuff, everyone using two-handed maces was so good. It makes everyone so much more survivable because you lower the enemy's damage output by 30%. And it's super fun to play and satisfying because you get to hear that thunking crunch of the two-handed maces. Oh! One more hit. lot of monsters. I should have... Shot. Ah, come on. Couple more hits there. Come on, boys. I believe in you. Ooh, Hagen. Do you seriously not have enough? I mean, it does use 30 fatigue per turn, swinging that sling. Good shot. Need more spears. Yes, Albrecht. One more hit and Hagen is dead. Any one of these lads comes back as a zombie, we got problems. It's going to start a chain reaction where we can't kill these things. We are so low level. We've got a couple level 4s. Everybody else is level 1 or 2. Yes. Just stay where you are and breathe. He doesn't. He's a level 1. He doesn't even have recover. No. Oh, come on! Actually, Ryman, put your body on the line. Give this guy a target other than Hagen. Guido, get in there. No, he's dead. There we go. Got the triple surround. These things are rubbish for their accuracy, and my boys are low level to begin with. If he rises up, we've got such a big problem. Oh god, I'm in melee range, so I'll just try to duck away. Woo! Come on, Albrecht! Oh fuck, here goes the next guy. I mean, this fight was always going to be borderline. Fuck, and Torsten doesn't even have a shield. I'll try to dodge away. Rip. I should have known we're too low level for this. Damn it. We're also undergeared. If all the front level had, all the front line had spears, it might have been doable. I mean, we were doing okay, but then all of a sudden we weren't, you know? Where's that sword? Let's chuck that on the front line. I feel like these axe lads, I might even just give them, honestly, like a dagger, because this hand axe is never gonna fucking hit. 55 accuracy, attacks twice. Try that again. I mean, a more favorable map with easier choke points could also make it. No, that's the opposite of what I needed. Well, let's try. One, two, three, four, five. Did they increase the range of these things? They did. They were 5 tiles. It makes sense they've made it 6 because at 5 tiles they're basically just throwing weapons. And objectively crapper throwing weapons at that. I do wonder whether there's any situation where I would want to have a dedicated sling user. I mean, hell, this is all about experimentation, isn't it? Maybe this is the play. I remember seeing something in one of the dev blogs about there being a level 2 staff sling. Is that part of the DLC or is that part of something we've already got? Let's see, 25 to 40, 50 and 25. We're going full on experimentation. How about we go sling users, throwing weapon mastery to give more armor pierce, and we take Headhunter. Let's just go full. Let's go full retard on our builds here. Look retarded, act retarded, not retarded. Never go full retard, man. Melee fighters, just hold your positions. The survival perks, okay, fine. 60% shot. I will do that for my tank guys, absolutely. But if your entire squad goes for only survivability, you're going to have damage problems. You're just not going to be able to do enough damage to kill anything, really. And then when you're up against those big swarms of zombies and enemies, you're going to get so overwhelmed. But what I know is going to be good, because I've experienced it before with a peasant run-through, is having X guys on the front line. I had one group of a peasant militia where I had 9 up front, 7 at the back, and all 9 on of the front line guys had X mastery, shield mastery, and then that allowed you on the back line to have 4 polearm users. And then the front line just crashed through the shields, the polearm users, especially when all 4 of them get scythes. Holy crap, you slice through everything. Has its weaknesses, of course, but those frontline tanky dudes with X specialization, it's just fucking great. They're so versatile. In fact, if I stand here, then zombie wants to go there. They've quadruple surrounded. I'm happy with that. I can't help but wonder. Let's look at these archer guys. I haven't given any of them bow mastery. We could go throwing mastery and bullseye. I mean, if we are up against enemy archers, we would just have to move forward a few tiles to bring my slings in range. It's going to be so stupid, it's not going to work. I can't wait to try. Why the hell not? At 84%, miss. Magnus needs to recover. I think all the archers need to switch to slings now. Do I want to spear wall? I don't think I do. Absolutely. Think of the savings. bricked. Let's spear wall. Excuse me. I'm allergic to zombies. Do I go to that spot? I think I do. I protect the flank from this zombie because he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Whereas if I move there, then any zombie goes here, they are surrounded and they're going to get killed quick. Yes, I'm bricked!
Woo! You know he did.
%71% chance to hit. So if we think that all of our archers are only going to be using slings, we're not going to do anywhere near the damage we would with the warbow. But we're going to be applying days quite a lot. That's not going to work, it's going to be crap. But let's experiment and try. The other thing we could experiment with is with crossbow specialists. Headhunting crossbow specialists. A tier 3 crossbow with headhunter perk and crossbow mastery. So 70% of 40 to 60 goes straight through armor to the head. 40 to 60 plus 50% because it's a head armor hit. You could do, if you roll 60 the max, you could do 90 damage in a single shot. It's actually a little bit less if the target you're hitting has a full helm and battle forged, but you can do a lot of damage. God damn it, come on! 24%. This is a problem. What's up, Criddle? I can die! Oof. Finally. Five down, 11 to go. Oof, we're bleeding. Criddle, you've only missed an hour. The lads are all still very low. We've just hired a bunch of fresh meat and we're trying to keep them alive. So I thought, what better than to walk into a group of 16 zombies. Hey, Jog, how are you, mate? Arnulf needs to gain his breath. The lads are all exhausted. This is no bueno. Come on, dodge away. There you go. No! Ugh, zombies. We love zombies. XP farms. Walking balls of XP they are. Oh, one more hit. Eagle. Come on. 69% missed. Rolled a 95. Bodo, gonna go down. Hold the line, men. I think I don't leave the high ground because then this zombie will sneak into that high ground. That will be bad for us. Yes, yes, Magnus. Just for the lulz, I want to see what it's like having two highly leveled, like level 15 sling using throwing mastery experts with executioner and and headhunter. The 25 to 40 with how much goes through armor? Not a whole lot. 35 ignores armor. That's actually not terrible. It goes up to 55. So almost half. So you're doing like 20 to 25 to the head. Not just is but harmful for your combat strength. Look, don't get me wrong. If I take an archery god with a sling, however good he is with a sling, he would be objectively better with a warbow. But we are trying to do goofy shit in this experimentation, so... Only advantage the slings give you is the daze from hitting the head. I mean, daze is great. I know that from using two-handed maces, but... Yeah, baby, I agree. Like, the head-hunting crossbows, I kind of want to... But the thing is, I know that's going to be kind of viable. You still can't beat an out-and-out pure archer. I mean, even my hybrid archers from the previous playthrough were super effective. But a pure dedicated archer, for what archers need to do, it just doesn't get better than that. What's nice about the crossbowmen is you can be a bit more forgiving with the fatigue. They don't need as much fatigue. Because even if you give them Berserk, which I actually wouldn't, you can really only use Berserk once every second turn. Wowee! On off, doesn't have fatigue. Oh, Christ. He's dead in 3 turns if he gets hit one more time. We don't have any rotation yet, it's still too early on. I think I'll try to punch these zombies away, if I can. Well, in terms of dealing with enemy archers with a crossbow... Ooh, can Onolf live? No, I need to give him a bandage. But Albrecht, you're going to put your body on the line here. I seem to vaguely remember going for headhunting crossbowmen briefly in an offline campaign. And I have these vivid memories of one-shotting a whole bunch of enemies. I think we're about to do it. Yes, boys. 16 zombies defeated. Look at that. 562 damage. Well done. 565 for Torsten. I mean, this is a level 1 who did 500. He got 4 kills and did 560 damage as a level 1. Exceptional. Oh, and some coins. We've made almost 2 grand out of this fight. Now, Marden, I can either make him a dedicated archer at this point, or we can just go full crazy. 82. What do you reckon, boys? We have a decision to make. Crossbow or throwing mastery? And just lean into the staff sling. I've actually tried that. The Roman formation was terrible. I had, again, peasant militia. All of them, I had 16 lads, all of them with spear and throwing weapon mastery, and all of them with rotation. It was super durable because they're all identical. So what's so nice is your front line approaches, and they get messed up. They rotate with the back line. The back line javeliners then switch to the front line spears or swords, and vice versa for the front and the back. The problem I had was you don't deal with armor very well, and you always, the most difficult part of the Roman formation was if you don't give yourself your own archers, you really struggle against enemy archers because they have no incentive to come towards you. So you gotta spend multiple turns advancing under enemy archer fire. Okay, let's go for head crossbow. So is Executioner going to add to the damage with headshot? Oh yeah, of course. I know that the Romans absolutely had archers, but if you're going for a theme, I love having. I will say one thing that was cool was having 16 identical soldiers. So when anyone on the front line gets injured, they just rotate out. It's very durable, but ultimately not that great. Albrecht, the X-Tank, who we're going to replace eventually. God, look at this resolve. Fucking diabolical. Right, where's my level 1, boys? Well, pretty clearly we need to now save for some crossbows. Does everyone have a dagger or a butter knife at least? Nice, another militia spear. Right, so I love these backline Dane axe users because he can reach a target that all three of these frontline guys can hit. So one more of these Dane axes. Like I'm talking about having a polearm guy on the backline, but we know that dedicated polearm users are good. We could do another shield breaker, but we know those are good as well. As all your enemies fall, great, who will stand against us? And now we can go for the get 12 men ambition. Cash money. I'll take one of your finest crossbows, please. Another one of your finest crossbows, my good man. Thank you. Very kind. What's that price? $9.37. That's not terrible. I think we can get more than that. Deliver. That's exactly what I want. A delivery mission. Perfect. Oh, brawler. But let's wait till the ambition pops and then we hire him. Lads, I think you all deserve a drink. That fight was tremendous. Well done. Cornix home. 1-1. I'll sell that. I've never actually been a big fan of frontline polearm users. If I've got a two-handed weapon user on the front line, I want him to be swinging one of the more conventional two-handed weapons. I mean, it could be worth a try, but like you said, destroying the backline. When you're shooting it, when you are, you know, attacking backline, what is the backline? It's an enemy polearm user. It's an enemy archer. Those are all enemy types that don't have shields, so your own ranged lads should be able to deal with them quite well. The issue I've always had with frontline guys with two-handed weapons. What's this? No thanks, I can't take him. I don't want to go up to 12 men yet. What was I saying? On the few brief occasions that I have two-handed weapon users on the front line, I need to build them as raiders, which is reach advantage, that type of thing. Then I'd rather have them use a greatsword. Like, if your objective is to destroy the backline, a greatsword guy or a bardiche using split is arguably better, because you got better numbers from the bardiche than you would from the bullhook, and you're hitting the front and the back line. But this is part of the beauty of this game. What you described can work. Absolutely, it can work. That's a lot of nachters, a Wiedeganger, armored Wiedegangers, and a fallen hero. Let's not catch the Eye of a Noble House. Get back to a dozen men. Let's pull these zombies in. Okay, they don't want to come with us. A fallen hero. That could be a tier 3 weapon that we get our hands on this early on. Could actually be huge for us. Which of these lads? Okay, my level 4s. It's only the two guys on the outside flank that actually have shield expertise. Where do I want this fight to take place? I think I want it to take place here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like that. Four, 1, 2, 4. So, I'm going for a straight up 7 + 5 setup, and normally on the outside flanks of the 5 on the back line I would put 2 polearm users, but in the spirit of experimentation maybe we can do something a little bit different. I mean, there's no reason we can't try for a 5 and 7 setup where we have 5 up front, 7 at the back. That would open up options where we could actually have, if we have 7 at the back, we can do the sergeant in the middle, flanked by 4 headhunting crossbowmen, with maybe 2 greatsword guys, greatsword lads on the outside flanks to protect from getting the flanks from collapsing. And then on the front 5 could be 4 overwhelming axe tanks, 3 overwhelm axe tanks, with 2 dagger specialists in between them. So you have more like a wedge shape to your formation, which will encourage enemies to come to your back flank where they get met by the sweeping great swords. And what I'm hoping is, if we get them high level enough and leveled enough, 4 tier 3 crossbows with head hunting and executioner, they're just going to be one-tapping as they hit, I mean, against most organic targets. The thing is, though, executioner isn't really going to do much, because maybe, I don't know if we want to give him crippling strikes as well, because here's my question to you. Can you two-shot an orc warrior. If you manage to hit him in the head with shot 1 and wound him, will the second shot do enough damage through armor to proc executioner to kill it? It's worth finding out. I doubt it's going to work. The other thing I might want to do, see, I like fearsome as well, but wipes with crypt strike. What do you mean wipes? Crippling strike. With the setup we are busy discussing here, our overwhelming strike tanks, I don't think it's worth giving them crippling strikes. The dagger specialists would, I think, do well with crippling strikes, because if you get like a legendary dagger with nice damage numbers, you could potentially inflict injuries on some of the bigger monsters. The other option is I could have my tanks could specialize in axe usage to stretch their fatigue to help them to break shields, and then they can have a quick hands to maybe instead of a spear, we could give them a sword. Hang on, so sword mastery, does sword mastery affect the injury threshold? No. The other way of looking at the other way of looking at the tanks is you have them break shields, but you don't bother with axe mastery. Maybe the way to think of it is the axes are only there to get rid of shields, then they switch to their main weapon. What do you guys think about what we should do with these tanks? Should they be like, I certainly can't afford to give them 2 weapon specializations. I either got to give them axe specialization or sword / spear. Bearing in mind, we're not putting any points whatsoever into their melee skill. I think swords, the problem is, though, sword gives you plus 10 chance to hit. They've all got about 50 melee skill. That's 60 chance to hit. They're just not going to hit. The thing is, the problem with these tanks is I'm going full tank. So like Bodo started with 52 melee skill. I'm never going to give him any melee skill. He's an overwhelm. No, actually, let's not lose sight of what I'm trying to do with him. I'm trying to have him apply overwhelm. His job is to apply overwhelm. That's true. So I think you give them axe mastery and then quick hands and a spear. So 2 swings with an axe with mastery costs 22 fatigue, and a stab only costs 20 anyway. So let's imagine how the fight goes. So instead of crippling strikes, because they're never going to do enough damage or hit reliably enough, I think they need to primarily use axes when breaking shields, and then switch to spears, and then have fearsome, because that way with fearsome their damage is less important, because they're at least breaking morale with fearsome. I think that's what I want to do. So it is true to say that a big reason you get spear mastery is for their optimization of spear wall, but these lads, remember, only have 15 melee skill, so you can't depend on them to hold a spear wall anyway. Most likely they'll hold the spear wall and enemies will just walk up and go straight past it anyway. Because we're going to be giving them overwhelm, and they're going to be using light armor, and they're going to have high initiative, you could well make an argument for making them just dagger specialists, and they just attack. So even if they swing and miss 3 times, they've lowered the enemy's offense by 30% and defense by 30%. And even if they do nothing else, that's no damage output. That's I really want to make them sword experts because of the high the high base damage of the swords. I don't know. The thing is, though, they might have to only use axes, because that's, I don't have any warhammers in this setup. I don't have any maces, so this setup with crossbows, great swords on the back lines, axes and daggers has almost no ability to deal with heavy armor. Ugh, come on. This lad could one-shot anybody. Super scary. I don't have any nets. Well, you say hit once with light armor and dead. Not really, eh? With... what's it called again? Not fancy feet. Nimble. You'd be surprised, eh? Especially with some of the legendary armor types. Nimble, you can be... Your EHP can actually be comparable to some of the heavier armor types. Do not underestimate the survivability. It is indeed useless against undead. The thing is, though, I think when I was theory crafting this team, I kind of knew that I'm putting together a team that is going to struggle against undead. Nice, 2 headshots. What I will say, though, is when it comes to the undead, don't underestimate the damage you can do with daggers. In a previous offline campaign, I had 2 dedicated dagger specialists, one of which had a legendary dagger with extra base damage, and the other one was using the witch's dagger. And I went up against Ancient Dead, and you can actually 4-shot an Ancient Dead. I'm not going to use maces in this playthrough now. I've used maces before, I know they're good. The whole point of this playthrough is all the weapon types and tactics that I've never really used before. I do love a mace, though. It's loves to splooge. Lol. This is expert combat veteran economic. For the longest time I played on expert economic as well, but I still maintain, like, I get why it's important to have it, but expert economic just amplifies all the parts of the game that I enjoy the least. You know, which is the extra 40 gold cost of tools, and it's just a bummer. I have to admit, I've actually never beaten the Ice Cave guy. But wait till I get some dagger specialists up. I love dagger specialists. Stab, stab, stab. Enemy morale shatter. Profit. So one of my favorite streamers, Perion Flex, is also playing Battle Brothers. And I typically play Dota with him, and he knows me as a terrible Dota player. But I'm watching him play Battle Brothers, and it's fucking horrendous. It's so strange for once, you know, like, I'll never pretend to be a decent Dota player, but I know this game. This is a game I'm good at. And watching him, and I mean, look, he's brand new. I've got 2,000 hours. He's got, you know, like a couple dozen. but he's into his second late game crisis, and he's barely got a few. What are these armors called again? Light chainmails, and he's got a whole bunch of undead armor, and it's fucking dreadful. But if I think honestly, it was probably 800 hours I had in the game before I really started to understand some of the finer points and what you need to do to be effective. I think a lot of people don't realize just how deep this game is. What did we decide on? The thing is, I think it's got to be Axe Mastery just for the shield breaking. I mean, they're never going to hit. You could pick up Fast Adaptation. With Fast Adaptation and Overwhelm, you will probably swing. If you swing and miss, assuming the enemy has 50 defense, you get +5 from +5 hit chance from Overwhelm, and +8 from Fast Adaptation. Is such a word controversial perk. Okay, look, we're at level 5. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 7 more perks, 8 more perks. What's mandatory? Recover is mandatory. Some weapon mastery is mandatory. Overwhelm is mandatory in this build we're going for. Nimble is mandatory because we're going for Overwhelm. Light armor, therefore. Dodge. I'm not too certain about dodge. So the thing is, I use split shield. Let's assume I have 100 fatigue and 100 initiative. And I use split shield twice. That's -25 per swing. How much? What's the fatigue cost for 2 break shields? They have 15 fatigue, really? I remember it being a lot higher than that. Minus the efficiency, that's called 12, so that's 22. And you recover 15. Okay, that actually makes dodge viable now on these Overwhelm lads. I think I might even take dodge. If I were to take dodge now, that would give me 9 extra defense. Well, it's got to be rotation. And because I'm doing a light armor build, Steel Brow then becomes mandatory. We're running out of perks very quickly. Seeing that 24 resolve, that makes me so sad. Great Sword Lad, I think Gifted is probably worth it. Gifted's always just so good. One of the viewers made the point to me when I used to take Fast Adaptation over Gifted. Fast Adaptation is a conditional +8% hit chance, whereas if you take Gifted, you get +3 hit chance, +3 less likely to be hit, which is a 6% differential on every swing you take and get taken at you for the entire campaign. So most people we take Gifted will take +3, +3, +4. That's 10 stat points. If there was a perk called Get 10 Stat Points. Fiddlefits, we're doing experimentation, not doomed to fail. Because that would be doomed to fail. Overwhelm tank. On most archers, absolutely. I think if you have a god archer though, if you have someone who, like in my previous campaign, I had an archer who was 57 range skill at level 1 with 3 stars. He didn't need any help hitting anything. He was a fucking god. What was his name? I should actually load the save file quickly and see if I can show you guys that archer. He was absolutely nuts, that guy. Oh, you make me sad. I'm glad he at least has the star in melee defense, because abandonment does actually need to be able to go toe to toe. In the past, when I've built my abandonment, I would give them range defense to keep them safe from enemy archers, but honestly, like 10 to 20 range defense plus nimble and being on the back line, you typically aren't going to get that much, and even if you do, it's not that dangerous. My abandonment were getting killed when they were getting killed by getting caught out in melee range and not being able to fight. And remember, he's going to have bags and belts and quick hands, so he can carry a shield and a spear and, you know, hold his own within reason. Okay. We've got the 1 axe we need there. It's the tool situation. Run, boys, we've been spotted. 11 to 13 Nachtjaars. I can't do that without help. I need some raiders or something to follow me in there. It's not that good of a payday. I might have to actually abandon this. It's not worth. The thing is, I can't do it myself. I need help. 273. You. Fucking daylight robbery. Not Iron Man, no. Like, dude, the thing is, I think I've earned my stripes with Iron Man. I don't have anything left to prove. Iron Man is great and everything, but I'm not embarrassed to say I'm not that kind of player. I think all Iron Man really means is you have to be hyper cautious, because your people dying is so devastating. And similar to the way that I don't like what expert economic difficulty does, I don't like what Iron Man does as well. It amplifies that part of the game where you make one mistake. You make, thanks to the follow loves, make one mistake, screw one thing up. You know, that's like 50 hours of progress on a brother just gone. And then you got to grind him back, and it's just blech. He's too expensive. I love a day Taylor. Their stats are garbage, but if you get lucky and you get one of them that has, you know, nice star distribution. Bloodthirsty, I like. Range defense is one of the least useful abilities. Gerhard, why are you so expensive? Magnus, garbage. Tailors can be quite funny. He could be a decent tank, but his stats are going to be fucking garbage. Let's just buy him so we get the ambition and get on to the next ambition. 54 is no worse than any of the other tanks. And 2 stars plus melee defense gets him, what, 30 or 25? I think it's 25 on average. Melee defense, 2 stars. No, it's 3 every level. That's 30. That's 30 melee defense. Plus 25 is 55. Plus a quarter, it's 60 melee defense. He'll be very, very... He's actually a fucking decent overwhelmed tank. Fear of Undead we can remove, so that'll be up to 39. He's surprisingly not bad. Right. Carle, get in there. What a pleasant surprise. He's not terrible. Overwhelmed tank. I've got too many overwhelmed tanks now. At least I've got my 12 lads. I've got 12 bodies that I can level up while we earn money and then just keep searching. I still need dagger specialists. But they are super hard to find. I am super picky about my dagger, guys. But I tend to find that the investment in hiring and firing over and over again is usually worth it. Oh yeah, they will absolutely, some of them will die. Let's go take on those Nachters and just see what happens. I forgot about this big grey tax. 358. Good money. In terms of next ambition, my Bannerman's only level 2. He would need to get 2 more levels before he can do that ambition. Are we professional yet? No. Gained renown. I've got to think very carefully. I might even do the visit every town ambition next. We'll try this fight a couple times, but I expect us having to save scum it. This is going to be scary. He's got a shield. The thing with these Nocturne fights is, as long as you start well, you should be in decent shape, but their morale just breaks. As far as this experimentation that we're doing, I don't want to go into fearsome because we already are going for a build that's weak against undead, and of course fearsome does sweet fuck all against undead. Hold the line, lads. Be brave. Come on, we need some good spear walling here. You slide in there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that's no good. I can't have that. You see, this is the problem. Exactly what I'm talking about. Why I wouldn't give my tanks spear mastery. They can't fucking hit anything. Is there still an aim malice applied when using spear wall? Am I better off using staff sling? So I can do one bolt that does 40 to 60. That's 50 to 80 if both of them hit. And I forget the days. Oh. Red alert. Problem. Raimund! Level 3 Raimund. He's taken down a level 2 Nachtzer. They'll be telling their friends about that in the pub tonight. Did you see that, lads? Took my pole arm and shoved it right in his fucking face. Scary. No. Clutch. Oh, a one shot there would have been so good. No, this is bad. It's 2 feeds. Dodge, nice dodge. Guido on the edge there is in big trouble. Just gotta keep these boys alive to level 7, then their survivability increases so much. With these Battle Brother lads, I tend to think of them hitting level 7 the same as, like, you know, a Dota hero getting their ultimate. Such a game changer. Yes. Well fought, boys. Well fought. Ho ho! With the head. Nice. That was a good fight.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so tempting to take +3 there. But no, must remain disciplined on our build. Actually, I can full on skip fatigue until his initiative number matches the fatigue. Albrecht is level 4. He actually needs to go to the front line now. Interesting. Who is struggling the most in the front line? Egil, 22 defense. Hagen, I think, actually will put him into the back line now. The fact that he's confident means he has a better chance of landing hits with that big axe. Ugh, Lord. This is good. We've got 2 crossbow lads. But 63 range skill at level 5 is actually kind of arse. It's really not good. Okay, so you break shields for those 3. You break shields for everyone here. Carle, pure archer, X tank level 2, level 3 greatsword. Maybe he should go to the front line. Like so, and then that I think is probably better. Yes, good. Spears, well, an axe is flanked by spears. Another axe there to break shields. Decent. Not bad for day 31. Uh, 75 gold is pretty good for that. Our other archer, Dolmar, he's very close to needing his crossbow. But I'm not spending $1,000 now on a crossbow. We can take one off a dead body of a raider. $270, fuck my life. Cheap crossbow there. Do we want to pay 602? No, we want to save that money for trying out nerds. The search for our dagger master continues. Wonder if I shouldn't... Oh yes, I have to be checking weaponsmiths for heater shields. I should buy heater shields on site for my shield specialists. That also helps with their defensive abilities a lot. Too expensive, too expensive. All too expensive. Day to the northeast. Escort 4 days to the northwest. Nope. Noble House, nope. Sergeant, not yet. This we can do. Set out in the unknown. Let's do that. And how many cities have we not visited? We've only operated in the south. We've been to Nesselwald. We've been... Let's see, have we been to Nassenfels? Let's go there. You build, we kill. Well, actually, I can spare a man or two because... Oh, sweet. We agreed to lend a few of the test subjects finest to the project. They fall back into their old roles like a glove, quickly banding about to collect resources, hammering, bricking, dooring. Whatever it is to put a door in, they do it, and quickly. When it's all said and done, the local man comes to you, grinning ear to ear. He hands a satchel over. You've earned this, good sir, and more, you've earned my word. I shall spread your benevolence wherever I can. Sweet. So I've done that event before, and it leads to my men getting exhausted, but I think because I have at least one day tailor, it means that event gives you euphoric. In fact, I would think that the guys who are euphoric, the miller, who else is that? It's the miller and the vagabond. Necromancer. You know what, we can try to take that on, honestly. I can get my crossbow into range of that Necromancer dude. Let's give it a try. Look at that. 1024. Crazy, isn't it? So normally this is a little crazy to do against undead, but we've got to charge forward. 2, 3, 4. We have to charge forward because we need to get sight of that piece of shit right there. That's why. There's any changes in reputation? What do you mean, Ephes? The reputation system hasn't been changed as far as I know. It's all still pretty much the same. Oh, scary. Shot. You motherfucker. 73, missed. Man, it feels great to be playing Battle Brothers again. Are we? Fuck off. Ugh. 18%, that's not going to happen. I need to give them the flanking maneuver. Oh. So somehow I managed to get my company reputation to kind, and I don't get ambushes nor peasants fighting back in great battle. Contract preparations when given tasks. Oh. So Hefes, I think what you're referring to is you have your reputation, and then you have your like standing, like your alignment. Your alignment is based on the type of missions you take. So if you were to, for example, go for a pacifist run where you only do deliveries and exploration and escorts, and every single one of those events that pop up, like the old man with the ring, anything that basically anytime you get a chance to be a dickhead and you choose not to be, that's going to make you kind. And then I think that's what you're referring to there. Please don't break, Ryman, don't break. I've never had a reputation like that, primarily because the missions I like to do tend to make you not kind. Like all the fighting, I think, lets you level up the quickest and get you the most money. Like a pacifist run is doable, but like how boring would that be? All you could do is exploration and delivery missions, and you would never level your lads up because you only level up through fighting. Sake. You can't fight, just don't kill brigands. Yeah, but also again, boring. Okay, lads, for fuck's sake, you have to kill that necromancer now this turn. %. Fail. Barter brothers. I mean, if you do barter brothers, well, you make a lot of money, but like the only point for having money is to buy gear so you can fight. If you aren't fighting, the entire campaign becomes pointless, you know? I'll worry for Guido. Oh, great blocking, well done. Oh, that's true, yeah. If you choose to let him go, they'll think of you as kind, I think. Martin! Was that a headshot? No, body shot. I wish when you got a killing blow... Oh, there it is, yeah. So, Sir Coat hit for 42 damage. I wish it would tell you how much HP damage you would do. I think we dagger this dude down. Yet I could do with that bit of chainmail, but he is a little dangerous. He does have a spear. We're playing so much Urtuk when I just moved Bodo there to be either side of that dude. I was like, cool, backstab. I think I might want to bash him away from... No, Guido's got 63 body armor. If he gets hit in the head though, 28 hit points. The spear does how much? I'm pretty sure if that's a headshot it'll kill him. Yeah. Dang it. Southern crossbow, that's pretty cool. Well, actually, if it has different stats, what I would hope for is to have less AP cost either for reloading or for firing, so that you can actually shoot it twice a turn, like a bow. But then they would have to tweak it to balance it so that it's... because otherwise it would just be shot up better than a bow. Yeah, what are those ancient Chinese repeater crossbows? Those are pretty cool. But honestly, like, I'm not crazy about the gunpowder. Something like a repeater crossbow wouldn't like you know, fit. Damn it. Honestly, I'm loving the crossbow. This is the stage of the campaign when the crossbows actually feel viable. Much later on, they will feel not as good. Obviously, you can't beat a warbow, but you gotta enjoy this phase while it lasts with the crossbows. They'll fit the head. So that sound you hear of the crossbow reloading, quite traumatizing. I've heard that sound a lot throughout playing Battle Brothers. And it's a sound that precedes one of your brothers dying quite often. Oh, stay down, you dumb ass. Shit, what's the matter with you? Whoopsie! That could have killed Guido if that hit him. That was a misclick. Oh. So again, speaking of the Perion Flex stream when he was playing Battle Brothers, it amazes me still that some people will never surround and stab like that. There's some people who still make the argument that it's never worth it, which just blows my mind. Don't mind you. I mean, I get the argument that sometimes it's too dangerous to be worth it. But there are so many situations where you're just, you know, there's free armor on the table if you just take it. This dude's got hit point problems. We're going to have to take losses. X-Tank. Fencing swords work, they're just not great. Struggle against armor. Like, one of the big advantages is you can be mobile and get yourself into contact with ghosts. But why? Just use a whip, you know? Why bother? Just whip those naughty scamps. The one build I've never really had any sort of success with is duelists. Duelists. I mean, a fencing sword dodgy build. Like, I get what makes duelists cool, the armor pierce. Whew. What do you mean, the fencing sword, Tremlin? Lunge can up to 100 in one swing, but only with a super initiative. Oh, that's right. So the more initiative you have, lunge. I mean, that is the one build I've never tried. Maybe I should actually, but I really want some dagger specialists. So remind me, lunge does bonus damage based on your initiative. Oh, daggers to farm for armor. Abusing the game. I don't know, man. It just seems really smart to me. And besides, it's really the daggering to farm armor is pretty much only something that happens in the first, what, 150, 200 days? At that point, you are set up and you don't kind of need to do it anymore. And I would argue that it's that part of the game that is the most difficult and when you need it the most. I have no problem doing that to farm armor. None whatsoever. But hey, each to his own. feel like a on turn off kind of thing. Well, the thing is, like, admittedly, I haven't used the fencing swords very much, but my feeling is like you get that one great attack where you lunge. Just don't miss the lunge, by the way. If you miss it, you got problems. You're quite often out of position and you can't attack again that turn. And the fencing sword build offers very little sustain and no AoE. Oh, dude, I hear you. Dodgy builds can be friggin' great. Anyone who's played Mordheim will know how great dodgy builds are. But the thing is, it's literally hit or miss. It really is. When it works for you, it's amazing. But when it doesn't, you get unlucky with a few swings, you know. Like a battle starts, 3 or 4 enemy attacks have like 10% chance to hit. They all hit. Just fucking, you know, just done. That fight's over. Whereas with the heavy armor, it's much more consistent. Nope. Give me a delivery, please. Ancestral Cemetery. Fine, we'll do whatever. Do I need any of this stuff? No. I think the Dodgy Brother build is a, you know, like, it's basically, it's a late game build. We wait until the morning, give Guido a chance to repair. Yep. I must say, I love the scouting report. Knowing exactly what you're up against is wonderful. It's so good. Okay, we'll take that armor. We'll take all 3 if at all possible. Both these mega build. No, I've been meaning to get into the Legends mod. I was just about to, but then this wonderful DLC gets announced. The plan was I was going to finish my Damage Inc. playthrough. So follow Wolfgang. Oh, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Oh. So I'm going to play the DLC a bit. And then I'll go into Legends. There's actually a command, ! Legends. I want to really catch these guys on low ground, but it's pretty hard. Oh, come on, you got to hit that. 31% chance. How's it going to be so low? No, that's an 81, not a 31. Damn. Dude, the Legends mod is a complete overhaul. If you're familiar with XCOM, the Legends mod does to this what Long War of the Chosen or Long War does to XCOM. A lot of the stuff that's getting added to the DLC was actually lifted pretty much straight from the Legends mod. The camp followers is one of the things. Very welcome, Wolfgang. Very welcome. And that is why we like crossbows. Oh, look at that damage. Martin, you're doing quite well, mate. You average 75 at 5. It's slightly above average. The other 2 crossbow boys are going to have to be replaced because they are poachers. And 63 at 5 and 59 at 4. Honestly, that's garbage. They'll do for the moment, but we're going to replace them. So instead of going for pure archer build, Modern, we've decided to go for head-hunting crossbow build, where we're going to take Executioner, Crippling Strikes, Headhunter, and just try to one-tap mofos. I want my daggers. My dagger specialists. It's kind of sad for me with crossbows. The only time I've been able to have them feel remotely viable is when I was playing with the peasant militia, where the lack of multiple shots around you can offset with the extra bodies on the field. I did have a playthrough where it was an offline one. I had 9 guys up front, all of them shield and axe specialists. Sergeant in the middle of the formation in the back line, flanked by 4 crossbow specialists and then 2 shield breakers. So I had a total of 11 axe specialists. You just crunch through shields. Oh, fuck, it was great. It's probably one of the best setups I ever had, but it was kind of boring because it's just you just plod forward, crunching through shields and killing people. Right, we're going to be greedy and go for all 3 sets of this armor. Oof.
Ooh, you know he did.
Is it a kill or a struck down? Killed, and that was one of the great sword lads. Oh well. This is silly. I need a few shots to hit here. I don't know how much longer Bodo can hold that guy at bay. Come on, I just need one of these dagger shots. There we go. Pierced hand. Nice. Debuff. And also think about this. Once we get overwhelming dagger guys, if you hit someone, give them pierced hand, that's what, minus 10 or 20% chance to hit, plus the accuracy debuff from overwhelm. Enemies are going to struggle to hit anything. Ooh. What's that? Pierced side. Okay, it's just fatigue. I kind of wish the piercing injuries would be better, but it's nicely balanced. I'm just kind of moaning. I wish they would do more. The crushing injuries are so good though. Oof. Yeah, they would hit 5%, but I'm not, that worried about it. It's not like we're playing Mordheim or anything. Mordheim is where enemy has 5% chance, guaranteed to hit. You have 95% chance to hit, guaranteed to miss. Mordheim, has the most busted random number generator of any game I've ever played. One more stab. Actually, I could probably crossbow him to death. Just hope that didn't destroy the Hauberk. Yes, he's fleeing. Rip Raymond. Oh, beautiful. 3 sets of Worn Chain. And a Boar Spear. It sucks to lose a brother, but that overall kind of feels worth it, if I'm honest. These Worn Chain suits are just, that's the bread and butter of any early game. Yeah, Wolfgang, there's plenty, mate. Loads are available. Just bear in mind that this is not going to be a very long or very active playthrough. I'm gonna do like 2-3 hours once a week, just to experimenting until the DLC comes out. But once the DLC is out, oh boy, I'm not kidding. You can expect what, 8 hours a day of content. So, fatigue is terrible. Oh, sorry, here's resolve is terrible. Right, we need to go buy a crossbow. Overwhelm tank. Yes. Oh, look at that. He actually has more fatigue than initiative. Interesting. Very interesting. 576, that's 70. No, whoopsie. There and there and there. 76 and 70. I kind of need to do some maths though. I expect that they are going to be wearing noble armor and a salle eventually, but it's such a long way down the road. 74. $74, very nice. Honestly, for Hagen, if I were to take dodge, he would have 15% of 74. That's an extra 10 defense. For all of my light armor overwhelm tanks, I'm going to aim to get 100, 100, and dodge. Now, I very much expect that they, on their turns, they will alternate between using shield break and recover. Well, you got to pick a lad, Wolfgang. You can take your pick. There's Bodo, who's a decent X tank. Hagen. These are all tanks on the front line. There's not a pure archer. There's Marden, the head crossbow is taken. Magnus is available. Head crossbow. Dalmar is taken. Crossbow. Torsten the Bannerman's available. Ooh, these guys are nice. That's a pity though. If only that was released on. Sure. I'm just gonna have to call you Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. A brave leader of men, Mozart. Like, a lot of the reason I'll use the staff sling is it saves ammunition, but like the crossbows are very light on ammunition. I didn't even notice that. Oh, I should have treated that. Curses. Give me a delivery, please. Hunt down the unholds. You are out of your fucking mind. I'm not doing that. We need to find a little hut with some zombies in. Clear out. Find white bones somewhere around the region of Nightingale, a long way to the southeast. We'll do that. 350. Ooh, that's good. We'll make profit there. Nightingale Valley. Yeah. Doesn't this archery background have increased scouting range? Looks like, does that look bigger to you? It's normal, I think. Swamps not far to the northwest. Q. A shit ton of auxiliaries and necrosavants in a swamp. That's a no from me, dog. It's a hard no from me. Visible raiders, nice. So we don't have a lot of money, but we are sitting on a fair amount of trade goods. Let's keep pressing north, hitting cities we haven't visited. But I can tell on this map, the tools are going to be a constant problem. 60, you fucking what, mate? I love Northern Raiders. Love Northern Raiders. And Wolfgang, that setup with all the great swords, super effective. I know that some of the guys who do Black Monolith early on just rush like 12 great sword guys. And then you just split, because you kind of have to. Most of what you're going to be fighting in the Black Monolith is Ancient Dead. So it's those shield guys with the big polearm behind. And you just split through, kill the polearms, and it becomes easier. What is this? Secure Crypt of Ogmar. Yes, I'll do that. And we need how many tools? 21. Yeesh. We'll just swap some armor around here. 74. 103. 80. 74. 80, that'll do. Please don't let it be auxiliaries. That's a lot of Wiedergangers. Very doable though. Extremely doable. Let's see, so my tanks are getting shield expert at level 4. We've got 1, 2, 3 lads who still need to hit level 4 up front. If you're going for all two-handers up front, might I suggest considering instead going for Bardishas. The Bardishas are going to give you better solutions against armor. You can still split in a line formation, just like with the Greatsword. Admittedly, you don't get the extra hit chance. And Bardishas are harder to find. So maybe a mix of Greatswords and Bardishas. If you go only Greatswords, you're going to struggle with the armor. Besides, as a Northern Raider, using a Bardiche. Ancient pikes, you mean for the armor specifically? Yeah, I suppose so. God, I wish quick hands still affected shields. Those are the good days. Hold. Let them come in. Let them come. So we will stab that nerd down. Kill all the rest of these zombie fuckers. You know, I kind of miss having my shield breakers. The shield breaker was a build that didn't have the top end of a lot of other builds, but was one of the most dependable and versatile builds I ever had. For a shield breaker, I would have them use quick hands, and they would use a crossbow, and then when in range they would switch to a two-handed axe, and then of course have bags and belts with a one-handed axe plus shield in the back pocket. So when the enemies closed into melee, they could actually defend themselves. And they give you utility of shield breaking, good damage, good armor, just good all-round build. Struggled a bit with AoE damage, but you know, you have other brothers to do that. And what I like particularly about that is you don't even have to put any points into crossbow or into range skill. Because especially if your shield breaker is going to be a light armor guy, you can use a Saleh that doesn't lower his vision. And one thing about crossbows is, what's surprising to me is, even with like, you know, only 50 range skill, it feels like you hit more often than you miss. And for a build that is primarily meant to do melee damage, any damage you do range is just bonus. Bonus damage as the enemy approaches, and then, especially if those shield breakers are flanked by actual archers, you can then have orcs coming towards you, for example, where you've got like, what, 6 or 7 units? Because I even do it with my sergeants. My sergeants have quick hands, and they fire a crossbow like 32 range skill. They'll miss a lot, but hey, all he has to do is hit one tier 3 crossbow shot on an approaching enemy and value. It absolutely is more realistic. I also like that you can point blank fire the crossbow. Come on, lads. I really want to upgrade all these spears to boar spears. The difference in damage from a, you know, basic bitch spear to a boar spear is noticeable. Finally! Raid boss zombie down, and the next one's just gonna slip in there. %, good hit chance. But armor-wise, it's only that one we're after. All the rest, I think, are not worth it. There's a fair chance we can get that one as well. Maybe we try that. Love to get that hat, but it's not worth daggering for. I've also similarly tried flail guys, and the only viable flail builds I've found have been a duelist flail, which is, you know, if you're going to go duelist, then flail is one of the least useful, or a two-handed orc flail, but then for that you need iron lungs, and if you've got iron lungs, there's so much more you can do. There's better weapons you can use. For me, I think rather than like that flail build, you just give them swords, because if you think like a round shield is 15 defense and a sword negates 10 of that defense, you only got 5% less chance to hit. And the sword does better damage. It's way better against unarmored targets. That being said, with the flails though, if you're doing a peasant militia run, I would absolutely say having one, maybe even 2 flail specialists can be fine. Just bear in mind that they are going to have to rotate up and down the line to put themselves in contact with the enemies that don't have head armor. Because I will say, there's a certain point of the game. Well, look, when you're brigand farming, I think there's very few better weapons. Because there's so many brigands, even 1,000 days into the campaign, who think, nah, I don't have to wear a hat, I'll be fine. And the amount of times you walk up and just one-tap them, it's pretty easy and reliable to one-tap a raider. Then again, you know, if the best part of a build is it's good versus raiders, that's not a very good build. All the big bads, the really scary big bads, have pretty tough hats, so not great. Oof. Okay, Guido's in big trouble. Yes, it is. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm trying to remember that they patch it out where Fearsome could proc 3 times a swing on the 3-headed flail. When that was still in the game, then the 3-headed flail was actually usable. But they had to patch that out. There's no way you could allow that, because then you can pretty much morale break almost anything with Fearsome with the 3-headed flail. And then before they brought whips in, the flail was kind of usable because it was a good way to deal with ghosts. But now that there's whips, there's no better ghost hunting weapon than a whip because of its range. I think Overwhelm still only applies 1 Overwhelm stack per swing anyway, so you're getting the same benefit from any other weapon. I still think if you're going to go for a 3-headed flail, then like the 3-headed flail is just the very best fearsome delivery system, because you've got 3 turns, 3 attempts per swing to get a proc of fearsome. Only roll once for either body or head hit and then triple damage. But then how is it different from the regular flail? The whole gimmick of the 3-headed flail is that it's 3 attempts to land a hit. I mean, I get it. When you are using it against super dodgy, hard to hit enemies that have very low hit points, like Alps, like ghosts. But it's really only good against one enemy type, the ghost. Oh, damn it! I mean, you could make a cultist build where all your frontliners use 3-headed flails and fearsome. You'll just be garbage against undead, though. I don't like the variability. For me, I very highly appreciate and prize reliability in this game. Being able to reliably do damage is so big. It's actually an interesting debate about what's the best weapon in the game. Like, if I had to choose one weapon to give all of my lads, I think for me it would be the axe. It's the most versatile. Shield break, it's got the second highest base damage and second highest armor damage. And my vote would be axe. And you get to roleplay as a Viking, so you can't put a price on that. The mace is a good one too. The mace also. You can also make an argument for sword, but the sword's weakness obviously is armor. But then again, the utility of the stun from the mace is so good. I'll still stay with X. My vote would be X. You know how you could buff one-handed maces? Because since the two-handed maces come out, I haven't once felt like I could justify a one-handed mace specialist over a two-handed just because of how good Dazed is. If you could say, with a one-handed mace, the stun effect stuns for 1 turn but applies Dazed for 2 turns. That could be good. Butter knives on the floor here. X there. Howie. Martin, I wouldn't worry about it. As soon as the DLC is out, we'll forget all about this campaign. Oh, the lads need recover. Well, would you agree that currently the one-handed maces are underpowered? Maybe it's the long way to look at it, because they, to me, only feel underpowered because I'm comparing them to the two-handed mace. The two-handed mace is just fucking such a great weapon. I had so much fun with my all two-handed mace cultist campaign. It's just so satisfying. You walk forward, crunch, crunch, crunch. And I worried that they would be too flimsy because, you know, cultists, so you can't have good defense. But one thing that you mustn't forget is that if you have a front line using only two-handed maces, assuming you hit all the enemies, you're lowering the damage received by a third. So think of adding 33% survivability to all your lads. It's really good. Overwhelmed tank. 7266. $72. 54 at 3. Ugh. So, for a great sword user who's going to have light armor, what does he need at this level? He's going to sit at the back line. He is going to have a great sword. No. Yeah, I agree with that, Wolfgang, absolutely. I must say though that I've always been firmly in, you know, favoring my quote-unquote raider builds. Raiders for me are the two-handed weapon guys. But like with Damage Inc., my previous playthrough, I actually found that I didn't have dedicated tanks, and that was a real problem. When I came, even though I had a bunch of two-handed weapons, and you'd think with all the big swinging and cleaving, you'd be sweeping up the enemies pretty quick, but I still think in a 12-man squad, I want 2 dedicated tanks, just to tie up a bunch of nerds, let the other guys go to work. Yeah. And damage-wise, any guy who has a shield can't compete with the other ones, but... And also, for a long time, I was down on dagger specialists. I thought that they are niche and only useful in the early game, but I'm telling you, man, once you get like a legendary dagger or the witch dagger, really good. And you got good melee skill, stab, stab, stab. Fucking hell, it's good. It's just, for me, the duelist builds are the one type of build I've never, ever, ever found a place for. It just doesn't cut it as far as I'm concerned. Like, being able to go straight through armor is cool and everything, but I don't know. I just can't see a duelist build ever having the top end of a two-handed weapon, you know? Just because you can't swing an AoE. That's all single target. Pick like shield bash based on melee defense. That's interesting. Well, I wouldn't say funny, I'd say more viable. Shut up, viable. Like, I mean, I'm building my tanks just to be purely survivable based, but like, they could give them some nice utility. That's a cool idea. I certainly hope we get some balance changes in the DLC. I need money. I want to buy this crossbow. Right. 3 crossbow lads online. One more lad needed. Complete the 12 and then we can continue fishing for dagger specialists. 2, 3. These at level 5. Ugh. That's actually not a terrible price for a warbow, but crossbow. I think for all of my crossbow guys, eventually they will use the goblin crossbows. I go back and forth about that because I don't see the knockback as a straight, you know, useful buff. Sometimes it's fucking liability. Stay to the northwest. Perfect. That's exactly where I want to go. Ooh, we got some venison. Thanks, Martin. Good hunting, mate. Well done. Where are we going? Kamstad. Good. Just once. We'd like to have a nice walk from one town to the next. Instead, we got to go fight these feckin' assholes. A poacher, a marksman, and some raiders. Ugh. Our armor is all fucking ruined. 71, 44, 90, 98, 83, 89. $68, 71, 80. Things are looking a bit rough here. 89. 61, 59. Gambison. I think we actually fight these guys during the day. It's fine, there's a marksman there and there's a poacher. But I've got 3 ranged guys, they've got 2. I mean, you don't get a damage buff or anything from the goblin crossbow. And it's only useful to knock the enemy back sometimes. I mean, like, if you knock back a 2-handed enemy weapon user, you don't get any damage reduction out of the enemy. Because they were still only going to attack once anyway. So if you knock back someone who's got a 2-handed weapon, they have to spend AP to move forward, so you've halved their damage output. But a shield-carrying enemy doesn't have gigantic damage output to begin with. Now, if you had a mechanic like in Urtuk, where if you knock an enemy into one of your allies, the ally you knocked him into gets an attack of opportunity, now we're getting interesting, but kind of niche. 16%. Oh, modern! So let's see. Bolt hits Brigand Raider. It doesn't say whether it's a headshot or body shot. I assume headshot because it would have said hit his hallberg. That was a headshot. 62, 72. Ooh. Oh yes. This is very cathartic, I gotta say, using crossbows against these fuckers. Normally it's them doing it to us. if I've ever just rage quit in this game, it is when you get one shot by an enemy crossbow. Like this dude's gonna do to us now. Called it!
Woo! You know he did.
Oh, it's always an enemy crossbow shot. It always hits. It's always a headshot. It's always one shot. Ugh, fuck my life. There goes our bannerman. Actually struck down. Gentlemen, pray for brain damage. Oh man, if we please let that be brain damage. That would be amazing. It's like clockwork. I tell you, you can set a clock by it. There's one thing you can depend on in this game. It's marksmen are going to one-shot your lads. That's a piercing injury, so yeah, can you even get brain damage from a piercing injury? If I punch this guy, he won't go there, will he? No. Yeah, collapsed lung on a bannerman is career ending, unfortunately. How do you like it, you motherfucker? There you go. Was that yeah, brigand marksman mouthpieces hit. Hit him right in the mouth with a crossbow. That's what you get. God, can you imagine a crossbow bolt hitting you in the teeth and going straight through? Oh, Jesus, what a way to die. Well, I imagine at least you'd go down quick. You would bleed out fucking quick. Well, depending on the angle. Yeah, well. Oh, yeah, that's right. You'd drown on your own blood. Lovely. So I think in movies I sometimes think about, like you'll see like someone gets shot and they just kind of slump down and they're instantly dead. Like I'm not an expert on these things, but I can only imagine getting shot, even if you get shot like in the neck or something, it's almost a minute of gurgling and screaming and thrashing and all that fun stuff. I get it though. You can't have every movie, you know, traumatizing people. Well, I'm not stabbing this guy. Well, I might as well. There we go. That's why I also like riposte. I really don't care about riposte. It just means you ignore that guy for a turn. And largely it's kind of a waste of his fatigue. Okay, this is when our crossbows are actually shining. Personally, if I got shot in the face with a crossbow, I would hope to not survive. Because that's a lifetime of suffering. Well, I did actually read a Reddit thread which was saying that for money farming, raiders are traumatized. Yeah, that's the end of our bannerman. Raiders are the most not cost efficient, like profit efficient. You get the most money from fighting raiders, and it makes a lot of sense because fighting monsters a lot of the time you take a lot of damage and you don't get to sell all the sweet weapons and armor. You just get to sell some shit that doesn't really. Ooh, that's good profit. Yes, please. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 140 tools right there. Good lord, we needed that. Like, it sucks to lose all that money, but having a full stack of tools just feels so much better. 4, 5, 6, 7. Good, we've got all the spears we need. Buy some beer for the lads. Earned it. And 405 for basic mail. Nah, I don't have enough. Oh yeah, Civil War. Civil War is when you start seeing dollar signs. Can we get... I don't like these deserters. A fanatic, considering we need... Oh, hello? That's a decent Bannerman. Oh, thanks for reminding me, but I already spent all my damn money. So let's see. 49, he could have rolled higher. 2 stars on resolve is 4, so 89, let's call it 90. Plus 10 from the sash is 100, plus 25, 125, that's decent. Otwin, and even comes with his own oh no, oh yeah, Mozart, rip. He does have great stamina, oh yeah. I've got one of those Mozart the second. There you go, Mozart. Just dust, wipe the blood off this battle standard. Go ahead. Ooh, kettle hat. Nice. That's a fairly big jump in armor for us. El Fluzilado. Good lord, that sounds horrible. Money wise, I think we should just focus on some brigand farming if at all possible. I want to see all these little shitty militia spears upgraded to boar spears in short order. Yeah, I think we're doing decent with our armor campaign. Let's see, what do we have for the next lad we hire? Good, he can use a... That's good, so all of this we can sell, except for the spears. 1, 2, 3, 4 spears. We need 3 in reserve. 1, 2... don't need any other stuff. Ooh, I love these padded nasals, but don't have money. Yeah, I saw some pictures of a male Hallberg for 683. I'd rather take the tools, but I can't help but think that maybe the tools wasn't the right thing to do. But I mean, honestly, this lets me repair everything, and it sets me up for tools for the next month or two. Okay. You should leave you to... What do you mean? Are you saying I should be repairing those tier 2s? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even bother with those calculations. I do know that the way you calculate is you calculate how many tools it'll cost to do the repair, then you work out cost per tool, then it's like, fuck that noise. I haven't got time for that. I'm just too lazy for that. Those are the kind of mods that I love. The ones that take away that sort of, you know, number crunching. What are the tracks? How are we? We need to do a lot more. Yes, I prefer this. 2 days to the south. Perfect. It's kind of making me think of the story of this chicken that got like partially decapitated and lived for a few years. Of brigands. On our Zbora, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Camelot. It is a silly place. Can we find a little house with some zombies in, please? Ask and ye shall receive. Bugs, poacher, raider. Okay, this gives us our ambition. Then it's almost time to start doing noble house work. After this, we need 1060, I think. They put repair all tier 2 for profit. So, well, one other thing I think you have to think about though is the availability of tools on your map. If, like on this map, even finding tools is such a pain in the dick, it might not even be worth it. Like on my previous seed for what was it, Damage Ink, that was the best seed I've ever had. God, it was great. The southern part of the world was so wonderful for trading. Fuck, we made so much money. I think if you use ! seed, it might even still come up. Well, isn't the amount of tools irrelevant? It's the cost per tool against profit. Yeah, it's just a calculation I'm not willing to bother with. I do think I want my tanks to have quick hands and spear, because there's a couple of situations here where the tanks, like this, he doesn't need an axe here, he needs something with better accuracy. C5. No, dude, I'm done with Iron Man. Honestly, like, I feel like I don't have anything to prove. I've done a couple of campaigns on Iron Man. And Iron Man is so fucking stressful. And Iron Man for me means that I got to be hyper defensive because I don't want to lose anybody. And then you're just doing low risk, comparatively low reward. You know, I'm much less likely to take on nice shot, Magnus. I'm less likely to take on a 3-skull mission. It feels like it slows the whole campaign progress down. I mean, I've had campaigns we were playing Iron Man where, you know, I'll stream when I'll be tired and not fully focusing, and you make one mistake, you know, and some god tier 9-star brother gets killed, and you're like, ugh, fuck it. I think probably you'll find even I mean, I'm kind of playing Honest Man now. Like, we've lost 2 guys since we started. I didn't bother reloading. I've reloaded a bit. Oh, this is the best part for the crossbowmen. They're doing so well right now. +4, loving that. 69 and 69. Nice. Shield expert. 32 melee defense at level 4. Hagen is gonna be good. And determined as well, so good lord, he's gonna have in the high 70s melee defense. Wow. Hagen's gonna be a fucking beast. 32 at 4. 34 at 5. 29 at 4. 23 at 4 is actually the lowest. Like mid-30s around level 4 or 5 is fucking good. It's very good defensively. Another nice thing about crossbowmen is you can give them heavier helmets. If I'm on height advantage, I get the extra tile. That doesn't then get offset by the lack of vision, does it? I think it does actually. Maybe I should rather just give him rusty mail quirks. Okay, 3 hours, I gotta stop. I'm knackered. Been a great stream. Right. A messenger I do like. They have great fatigue. No, what we're after is a dagger. I love a houndsmaster. I still dream someday. Hello? Sure footing and brave. He could even be superior as a bannerman. 48 and 2 stars, 49 and 2 stars. Yeah, he's better as a bannerman. So then we can get rid of this lad. This guy just becomes a nerd who we'll get rid of. 10 melee defense to start, which is great for a bannerman. Because I do need him to be able to hold his own. And he'll get about 125, which is decent. I really want a Houndsmaster. I've never been able to actually tame a wolf. I've never had that event. I so badly want to see that event. Okay, so crossbow, bannerman, crossbow, nerd, tank, greatsword. We've got 1 greatsword. So we need to hire 3 more lads at least, not including the replacements. Then we need to hire 4 more. We need 1 more crossbow. We need 1 more greatsword, and then we need 2 dagger specialists. Yeah, his stamina isn't too much of an issue. I don't mind that. Like, sure footing and brave is amazing for a bannerman. In terms of the backgrounds, I would actually love to pick up a historian who doesn't mind sitting in reserve, and a minstrel who doesn't mind sitting in reserve. Okay, we got our lads. Now it's just a question of... Oh, that's nice and cheap. The margins are kind of low on that. This is good. That number makes me happy. The meds have gone down to 10. Didn't realize that. Okay, we can start working for the noble houses now. Or we could do the other ambitions and try to squeeze out all the popularity we can. All the renown we can. Don't worry, Cuddle Fits. There's going to be maybe... I'm going to stop now, like, in the next 15 minutes. Long day of work tomorrow. So... Oh, I love me a wild man. Rubbish though. Rubbish. Whoa! Ah, but range defense. This could get, if he rolls high enough on his base resolve, God, if only that was 2 stars in melee defense, not range defense. Take a look. Flagellant. E, F, G, H, check out. E, F, H. Flagellant. Resolve 42 to only 42 to 52, so actually that's lower than I thought. And he gets -10 to -5. That's actually surprisingly crap. Okay. Yeah, I could have sworn it would have been higher. Alright, that's not that good then. Okay, last mission. What do we have? Drive off Brigands. 1600 gold. Cha-ching. My face when I roll in here, and it's going to be like 5 or 6 marksmen. Mostly thugs. It's mostly thugs. Yeah, I got lucky. This is a lot weaker than I would have expected. But honestly, at this point, I want to start fighting leaders. That being said, maybe we just until I have rotation on everybody up. 2 to 3 marksmen though in a forest. Eesh. This is not easy money at all. Let's try this fight, see how it goes, and then I just want to reload my Pain Ink save file and take a look at the lads we have. A hunting bow, 2 hunting bows, and a crossbow behind the bushes. This is nasty actually. Let's let them in. 69% chance to hit. Marden with the 1 tap. The forest makes me sad. Very scary. That dude is going to be a fucking ball bag to hit. I don't know what his line of sight looks like though. 12%. Miss all those shots you don't take. We'll just leave Arnulf here with rotation and Bodo in case some of these lads need to be rotated out. As soon as we take down their 2 marksmen, this becomes a lot more doable. Honestly, I'd rather even fight on an open field than in a forest. At least with an open field, you can rush them, get in range of the archers, and try to pick them off. I'm just gonna keep spamming low percentage shots now until I get lucky. Oh, nice one, Magnus! Come on. Good stabbing. Very good stabbing. Oh, hitting our shots, man. And those must be low percentage shots. 46 and 46, we hit them both. Who needs points in melee skill? Just hit your 40% shots. Easy money. Ow! Egil's gonna need to get rotated out. Oh, definitely. Oh, here come the marksmen to end him now. Oh, Jesus, one more of those. Yes, Morden! If this shot just has to miss. This is the one where Egil gets missed, thankfully. Okay. Phew. Scary. I don't think anyone can really argue that these flails are super good, but it's all a variability. I mean, if they roll high, it's 100 damage. Not. Oh, Martin. He's actually becoming quite scary. Ooh, that's scary. That's fucking scary. You see what I mean about this flails? That's fucking garbage. I did like... How much damage? Let's see. Flail for 40, basic mail for 46, nasal helmet for 31. Now, on the subject of our headhunting crossbowmen. These frontline lads with the axes, if they aren't out and out tanks, if they actually have some actual melee skill, then giving them headhunter can actually be worth it for the one-handed axe. There's a lot of targets you hit with the one-handed axe in the head that can't survive that. It's, you know, what's a tier 3 fighting axe? 40 to 45? 30 to 45 plus 50% damage. It's a fuckload of damage. Oh, for fuck's sake. Killed Guido. Well, we've got plenty of tanks. It's fine. Also, this is something that happens so often. One of your lads get killed, and the very next swing you take at the enemy that killed him, he dies. So basically, the enemy that kills your lad was so close to dying anyway. Like one extra hit earlier would have saved your lad. It's frustrating. Fucking hell. Come on, boys, we were doing so well here. No, wrong button. Fuck. Okay, well, shield up and breaking. That should, oh, there we go. Whew, almost lost another lad. On, boys, what are these misses? Rip Guido. Had him from the start, I think. Those are the helmets, nice. 1600 gold. Okay, so Nerd the Fanatic now can just go to the front line and do whatever he can. Fucking 48 melee skill. You absolute shitter. But who else? So who's here has got the highest defense? 32. I think you the outside flank holder now, Hagen. No pressure. Another boar spear. Excellent. We need, I think, one more. Some cloth. Good. Bomb tank. Let's see. +3. Okay. 6 and 64. Aha, good. Level 6. Excellent. Fancy feet. No, he doesn't need the buckler anymore. Good. Thanks, Rattlesnake. You're just in time for the end of the stream, I'm afraid. Well timed. It's nice to be back to Battle Brothers, but God, I needed the break, man. I was so unbelievably burnt out. I think, nerd, should you break shields or just stab with a pike? I think stab with a pike. I've actually got to get 2 new fresh bodies in here now. Catch other noble houses. Let us catch the other noble houses. Our Bannerman's only level 1. I wouldn't worry about that. We're going to do 1 stream a week. Thugs and raiders. More thugs and raiders to farm. Which honestly we will do when I start the next stream. 13:24. Yeesh. Okay. 2028. Cool. Good time to save. Let's quickly take a little look at Damage Inc. again. I want to take another look at Damage Inc. One of my best, but as a lineup, it still had some holes in it. I can't believe his melee defense was so low. Nice fatigue. Hit points could have been higher, but oh yeah, it's the minus defense from being a wild man. I would redo some of the perks. I would have gone more defensive. I was too offensive with a lot of these two-handed builds. Boghost, the Torturer, he was bloody good. 33 defense. Melee skill could have been better, but I mean, considering he's a cultist, quite nice. Luminous. Why would I mark him as heavy great axe? He was a sword tank. Beefy sword tank with that lightning sword. He had Exiled Pariah, he was pretty damn good, 87. I loved this Torturer build, it was so useful. The disarm, the quick hands, the big damage on the two-handed cleaver, it was so good. Now that's more like it, 41 melee defense. So typical that it's a friggin' hunter that, you know, that is a 9-star or a 7-star brother with melee defense. If only that stars there was in fatigue, would have been crazy. Sinrig, here's another goodie. Orc, another goodie. If only that star was there. Alex Nesterov, my Polon boys, they were good. Here's the 2 Polon boys, Agrak, Alex Nesterov. Was it Horst who was my god archer? I don't think it was Horst. That was Horst. Yeah, 113 range skill. And he even got, he even had Tiny and Paranoid. Which for defensively, for like, this is the dream. He's only a 5-star brother, but didn't we have, was it Saimon? Saimon. Maru. Saimon, I remember, was decent, but like he had 7 stars in exactly where you want for an archer, but his problem was that I think he was a Houndsmaster or a cultist, so 94 range skill at 16 is actually pretty crap. And then Coman, 138 on resolve is... They had so many legendaries. There's the Obsidian Dagger. I kind of wish that Pumulus was a dedicated dagger specialist. I think my next group of brothers, I need to think of the setup of what the team's going to look like, with the foreknowledge that I'm going to have Reproach of the Old Gods and Obsidian Dagger. So if I'm going to do a 7 and 5, you know, I think you want the Obsidian Dagger in the middle, and then maybe something like that, or you've got sword tanks there with like Reproach of the Old Gods, and then 2 axe using guys. I don't know, Wolfgang. I don't think it's going to be that useful because I won't know enough. I'll need to play a few hours first. Anyway, I remember this was fucking terrifying. I forget how many there were. I think, what was it, 48? Was it 48? It was 47. Ancient Legionaries and Ancient Honor Guards. It was fucking devastating. I remember that with this setup, what I needed was Bardishas and great swords. I mean, the hammers are cool. The hammers pretty much two-shot the Ancient Honor Guards. But then these axe guys should have used Bardishas and used Split. But anyway, I don't think this group has what it takes to take down the Black Monolith. Well, you say so, but actually, well, hang on. Let me just go back in there. These are hybrid archers. So they have throwing mastery. And so 35 to 55 with 45% armor ignore. And they do 40 to 63 damage to armor. They're not useless. That being said, though, going into the Black Monolith specifically, I would have preferred 2 more polearm users. Let me tell you, dude, that for almost anything except the Black Monolith, this hybrid build, for me, this is my preferred way of building archers. Because of the way I like to use them. Because they're good at everything. They're good against archers with bullseye. This is probably the only build where I would have 2 weapon specializations. I hate carrying a dead perk. But if you're fighting an unarmored target, you use the bow. If you're fighting an armored target, and it's a ball ache to get a hold of these heavy throwing axes, but they do a lot of damage. And then when you have Killing Frenzy active, I think I've done like 115 hit point damage with a throwing javelin with Killing Frenzy and Duelist active. You see, like, Nobel is a dedicated thrower, and he's better at 2-tile range. But if you're talking 2-tile range, I would rather just have a war scythe. So archer wise, I feel like this is for me where it's at. If I'm gonna have like a standard 7 and 5 composition where I'm only gonna carry 2 archers, I want them to be hybrids. Okay, that's enough theory crafting. Thanks for the stream, lads. That's 3.5 hours of Battle Brothers. What day is it today? It is Wednesday, the 8th of July. Probably next week, Wednesday, we'll do the next Battle Brothers stream. There's going to be Urtuk streams. I'm busy tomorrow night. I'm busy Friday. We might do a stream Saturday. Yeah, we might do an Urtuk stream on Saturday. Sunday I'm busy as well. I think Saturday and Monday will be Urtuk streams. Cool. Thanks, lads. See you then.